I tried to shoot this before, and it didn't. I don't know. I got really sidetracked. So I'm gonna try and maybe be a little bit better today. Anyway, I wanted to record something, just kind of get something off my chest, regarding Splitwood Acres YouTube channel, what it is, and that sort of thing. There's a lot of videos going around right now about you're not really off grid, you're not really homestead, you're not really country, you're not really whatever. We're a pretty small channel, we're pretty new. And by we, I mean like me, my family, what Splitwood Acres is. And anyway, so I wanted to kind of spend just a few minutes. And if you have questions, you can ask me, I guess, in the comments. And I'll try to answer them. Maybe I need to do a second video or something. Anyway, so here goes. We'll just dive in. What is Splitwood Acres YouTube channel? What's it about? It is not an expert know-it-all channel. It is not a come here and learn how to do everything sort of thing. If you want that, there's other channels out there. This is the wrong channel for you. You should probably go to, somebody like Wrangler Star, who has great bit of knowledge, and that sort of thing. If you want to learn to build a off-grid cabin, like something really simplistic, go check out Dave Whipple. Bush Radical is his channel. His wife also has a channel. I think it's Girl in the Woods. I hope I got that right. Anyway, both awesome, really knowledgeable, lots of experience. What is Splitwood Acres? Splitwood Acres YouTube channel is about a city guy becoming a country boy. Now I say that, and some of you guys may recollect that I have in the past stated that I've driven tractors, that I've done other things. Yes. My dad owned between 40 and 80 acres in Colorado, and his property was not only in the Rockies, way up in the mountains past Golden, Colorado, if anybody's familiar with that, but he's also lived out in the plains. And when I was young, he taught me a lot of things about, living in the country and living in, that sort of thing. But my parents are also divorced. And so I spent some time with my dad, some time with my mom, and at some point in time, only with my mom until I was a grown up. So my experience is pretty limited when it comes to living in the country. My life experience is primarily living in the city. So I say all that to kind of quantify, I guess, or qualify city boy going to the country. Okay. I've always had a desire to have my own land. I've always, wanted to get back to the country. It's taken me a long time. Life dealt me a lot of challenges and I've had to get through them. Some of them are self-brought on, mistakes that I've made. And then some things are just life's difficult, right? Not everybody starts in the same place. It takes some of us all a little bit longer to get to certain places than others, right? Some may be, really blessed and some may have a challenging road. And my advice to you is just make the best of it that you can, make good decisions, and, you can end up in great places. That's really sidetracked from what is Splitwood Acres YouTube channel. My beliefs, and what I've stated on this channel before. I've said on this channel that at some point we would like to start a homestead out here on Splitwood Acres. And I should probably maybe qualify what I mean by that, so that, we're not getting totally torn up in the comments, or I'm not, or that I'm not misrepresenting what this channel is. Homestead, somewhat a semblance of independence, and having own food sources. I would love to be able to grow some things, vegetables and other things, be able to have maybe some pigs or something like that. Not a lot, just a few. I don't want to become like some pig farm. At least for me right now, that's super intimidating. And maybe have a cow or something, and whatever, right? But as far as completely removed and independent of all of the external world going on, I don't want to do that. I see some of the challenges that I see. If let me back up for a second. If you know my history, as far as like my work history, I've mentioned it before. I work full time in IT. It saddens me sometimes to see um, older folk who don't understand technology whatsoever, and then something happens in their life, whether they end up having to go to a hospital or they end up whatever, and they have no idea how to communicate with the rest of their family effectively. Right there, maybe they don't know how to use cell phones well. They don't know how to use cell phones with internet well. They don't know how to text. I've even seen some that struggle to drive or other things like that, and that bothers me. I don't want to become that in my life. I want to stay somewhat in touch with the things that are going on, and that sort of thing. So, will I ever purposefully seek out completely being disconnected from everything? No, not at all. I mean, there is power on this property. It's currently connected up to a rundown home that's not livable, but it's here, and I would move that to a new home, at some point in time. So completely off grid, not at all. Is this property currently? Like I said, I mean, it's connected up to a house, but if I need power anywhere other than right there at that house, I got to run a generator or something like that. So everything else is, I guess, off grid. It doesn't have any. There is no bathroom out here. There's no plumbing. There's no water. There's no well. I think there are some wells on this property, but I don't know where they're located, and there's no electricity hooked up to the pumps running them. So there's that. So we're disconnected from power, disconnected from sewer, disconnected from water. So that's why sometimes I do tag off grid on this channel, because currently what I'm doing is off grid. I don't have any external help from anything. Anyway, but as far as like Homestead goes, I want to build a home out here to retire in, and eventually hand this property down. And I want the property to have its ability to withstand outages. I hope that makes sense. And maybe I should explain that some. If there is a power outage for 30 days, I would like to be in a home that can withstand that, right? So if it's winter months, the power goes out. Do we have our own heat, right? Do we have a wood burning stove and wood available so that we can burn that and do that? Can we lower our expenses and our heating expenses and that sort of thing by burning our own wood? That would be great too. That's something I would search for, or want to have, rather, not search for. As far as water goes, right, I would like to have a well, right, a good running well that doesn't freeze up when it gets cold, something where the water will continue to run. As far as sewer and that sort of thing, septic systems, that's about it. That's all I'm thinking. It's out in the country, so that's kind of like a no-brainer, right? Anyway, so I don't want to ever mislead anybody into thinking that what my plans are, and with regards to my beliefs on all of that, I am a Christian. You've all heard me talk about God before on this channel. My beliefs that come along with that are that I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm living out on this land, have food sources, and everyone around me is starving to death. I just don't think I could go through the pearly gates and answer for that, having not done a damn thing for anyone else in need. I don't think that's Christian like. I mean, in fact, the Bible explains, how Christians behaved, towards lepers and towards other sick people, and those sorts of things. So I feel like any, good, well-believing Christian out there, you may want to look at that and maybe research that yourself if your plan is to completely abandon humanity and their need. Um, I think we're at a time and a place where a lot of people are looking for simpler lives, but I think also that we all need to band together. I think maybe some of our leadership and our governments are not doing a great job. And we need to kind of come together as a people, not search out ways to completely exclude everyone and wish everybody the best of luck, right? Besides, I also know, I've got a lot of friends who were in military and that sort of thing. A lot of family that's been in military. Um, Trust me when I say, and there's other channels you can go and look this information up that I'm about to share. John Lavelle, Warrior Poet, would be a great one to go and check out, who's a former Army Ranger, and he explains some of this stuff. But if what you're doing is that you hope to grow your own food and have your own animals and have your own little place, and when the stuff hits the fan, you're going to be a-okay all on your own, and you're not going to starve, and you're going to be okay. Okay. I don't mean to be a downer, or anything like that, but unless you've got like 100 people, and even then, if you're not running armed guards and dogs and everything else all the time, 24/7, a group of well-trained men with the right gear, the right motivations, right, the right experience, they're going to take it from you. And you're going to have to just pray to God they don't kill you and your family along with it. Okay? So when it comes really down to it, I mean, that's just the way that it is. And you can shake your head and say no, and I'm stupid, and I probably am, right? I don't know it all. I certainly don't. But I do know that people like John Lavelle were tasked with taking things from people like Saddam Hussein, who had armies of men and guns and tanks and fortified places and that sort of thing. And it didn't do Saddam Hussein a damn bit of good. So any homestead with just a few people, you're joking yourself if you think you're going to stand up against that. Okay? So it would probably be better to be seen as a benefit to the community, helping. Okay? And I think that's probably, as a Christian, the best place to be. Right? I mean, sure, you may have to fend off the onesie twosies, and I think that's probably reasonable, right? I'm only really talking about 20 guys moving in on your location. Anyway, so I got really sidetracked there, and it's a fair point to make, about completely independent living. If you're doing it for a lifestyle, then more power to you, right? If you want to just live off grid for the heck of it, and you don't have any ownership to anyone, don't care about anyone, then awesome, then great. But and I think there is, I don't want to say any of this under the guise of that it's bad to be independent in any way, shape, or form, right? Independence is an awesome thing. We should all try to seek it and obtain it. So having some of your own food sources, and that sort of thing. But I think my point with all of that is that it should be a temporary type thing, right? So not that you're doing it temporarily, but that food source, that power source, that whatever, should be something to get you from point A to point B in an emergency, like the power has gone out because of weather or whatever reasons. Okay. And it should help you get from here to there. And just to back up a little bit more and talk a little bit more about that, I don't want to spend too much time on this. My thinking behind that, so just so you know where I'm coming from, is it's fine and dandy to do all that stuff, but I mean, if if what you're doing requires, a tractor or something like that, where are you going to get the fuel? If it requires a car, where are you going to get the fuel? If it requires right? So eventually, after time goes by, you're eventually going to need other people, the work they've done, right, through like refining of oils and gases and providing of things, right? You might have cows, right? And well, unless you're breeding those cows and raising those cows, then it's like, I mean, still, even then, I think that only goes so far, because you can't just keep breeding the same cows with the same cows, right? That's going to run you into problems. You got that same problem with chickens, right? Breeding chickens and chickens and chickens all off of the same chickens, right? I think that probably runs into problems. I don't know. I'm not super wise on that, but I think that you always have to try to get external male and females, whatever. But that's just me, right? So eventually you're going to run out of food or something like that, and it's not going to last all that long. So that's that. So let's back all the way back up and say, what is Splitwood Acres about? It's primarily about watching me, a city boy, learn to become country, right? And these beginning stages of, we have a piece of property with a lot of trash on it that's really, in my opinion, I don't want to say in disrepair, because that sounds more like a home, but is really kind of in bad shape. It's really overgrown. There's no, I mean, there's one driveway that's in bad shape. There's no real walking paths or anything like that. There's a couple of rundown houses that need to be removed. There's an RV trailer that needs to be removed, and that sort of thing. It's watching me get through that. And I hope what that does is inspire other people that are like me, right? I feel like I am not the only person who has lived in suburbs or once lived in country or whatever, that wants to get to a simpler life, that wants to make that change, and get a little bit more in touch with nature, a little bit more in touch with your food sources, a little bit more in touch with a simpler life. Okay. And it can be done on a budget, and I hope that this channel shows that. I've spent months clearing trash and removing very heavy things from the woods that had trees growing through them and all sorts of stuff, with just a saw, a truck, and lots of sweat equity. And that's the other thing that I do want to share with this channel is, I'm not just showing up with an excavator, or I'm not just showing up with a skid steer, and next thing you know, I've got a $1 million house sitting out here, and I've got 5 tractors and a skid steer and all this other kind of equipment that people wonder, like, how the heck do you get from nothing to that, right? We're a small channel, and everything is funded by our own personal accounts and things. So I feel like Splitwood Acres is a very realistic channel for those starting from nothing, who live in a city, who don't know how to do all the country stuff, who don't know how to do all of the whatever. And you can watch somebody learn, and maybe you can learn and grow with me. Okay, so not going to always do everything right. In fact, I'm probably going to do a lot of things wrong. And I hope the entertaining side to Splitwood Acres is, seeing some of that, right? See me do it wrong, and learn to do it right, and that there's a lot of country folk or homesteaders or off-gridders or whatever that look at it and just kind of face palm me and be like, that is not the right way to do that. Oh my gosh, right? And, maybe instead of just face palming, you can write to me and say, hey, listen, this would be a whole lot easier if you did it this way. Send me a link to a video. Anyway, so that's what this channel is about. Inspiring those people who are like me, wanting to do what I'm doing, right? And how to get there. So that's it. So I hope you all enjoy our channel, Splitwood Acres. and continue to watch. And I hope we continue to grow. Thanks so much for tuning in, y'all.